where he covers the particulars and how to make the paste and why to make the paste. Folks, you know, a lot of things have happened, and you know and anyways, Brad, I'm just going to run on this for a second. You know, because of lack of knowledge, because of lack of protocols, transparency. I mean, let's take a look at cannabis. They got more studies done on cannabis than any other plant on the friggin' planet. But yet the jury's in, and then they keep hiding the information. The National Institute of Health and all these folks that are supposed to be on the people's side. But it seems, and I just posted some nice links yesterday about how 75% of all doctors won't take the same poisonous protocols that they'll put you through. And why is that, Brad? Because they can't make no money.
I know. There's a great video on our website, and I apologize, I can't remember the doctor's name, but it's, you know this, everybody knows this, it's all about money. And they're not into preventative, they're into removing it, yanking it out. So that's where it all stems from, is money and not preventative.
Yep, right, not dense nutrition, which is, well, the people are finding out a little bit quicker now. Now that we have a new TV live stream, this is beautiful because this will get posted far and wide. So people can go over like pages like my International Cannabis Patients Wall, which I post protocols, alternatives, success stories, people who beat 4-stage cancer with the cannabis and all these other, but also there's other modalities besides just cannabis for those who don't want to do cannabis. You know, you've got, let's see, what do we have? Liposomal vitamin C, liposomal C with vitamin C with stem cells, food grade hydrogen peroxide, Nigella sativa, which is basically black cumin. All these different modalities of food grade hydrogen peroxide, which I cover over at Privatis.Me. If they go watch the first YouTube at Privatis.Me, that's the body part of the tour. And it will show them where all the links are, which I give away for free on that. Because I don't, you know, I love big pharma so much that I had to put this information. I got Dr. Tuminicelli, who talks about the cancer being a fungus, how the body's alkaline, needs to be alkaline, not acidic. And that's the upside about cannabis. It creates homeostasis. So for those who don't know what that is, folks, homeostasis is where it brings the body back into an alkaline state so it can function, where the cells start communicating with each other. Left-right brain comes back online, opens up the third eye, so that the machine starts functioning its proper capacity. So, you know, cannabis is what is it? Medicine from heaven, brother. I mean, it's got so many beautiful modalities on what it can fix, and so this is because of the programming for the last 100 years from big pharma, FDA. All the doctors go through Rockefeller-fed school systems, which only teach them how to use chemicals. But, you know, here's some irony, Brad. You know, they actually are falsifying cancer positives across the board. Probably 50 to 70% of all cancer positives are bullshit. Isn't that reassuring? So, hey, we think we see something. We don't know if we do, but let us practice on you and make piles of money on you. Because, I mean, the protocols, the treatments are tens of thousands of dollars, and they put most people in the bankrupt poorhouse. So look how they funneled everybody. Instead of preventive medicine or feeding the machine, knowing about magnesium chloride, food grade hemp that's actually good for the body, all the dense greens and chlorella and all these other neat little things. Lemon water makes the body alkaline, you know, stuff like that. Matter of fact, I'm drinking real living water. This is living water. It goes through a vortex, a triple vortex technology. It gets rewritten on about 10,000 times. And it's sharing the love with me. See, my water vibrates different, and so don't I. Because the cells in the body are all getting that nasty BPA stuff. And it's no wonder that everybody's, you know, you're a water bag. And it's if your cells, you know, water's vibration, everything's vibration, you know. So if the vibration of your water's bad, then it's no wonder everybody's got a shitty attitude.
That is so true. There's a lady I just talked to this morning. She said, actually, I think I told you about that. I actually talked to her yesterday. She tested her mom's alkaline level, and she was off the charts, like 3.4.
Whoa.
And I wondered, how in the world could she be alive?
Yeah.
And she's dying. She's absolutely she's on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
But so I completely agree with you that alkaline is critical, because oxygen sits in alkaline way better than it does acidic.
Yep, right. Well, what happens is when you create an alkaline system, it actually pathogens cannot hang out in an alkaline system. So if we could deal with the alkalinity of the masses, we could fix a lot of this the stuff that why they're toxic. You know what I'm saying? But they have to you've got modalities like which most people don't know about, like Celtic gray salt has 92 plus trace nutrients. You grind it up. It's actually from France. It's hand cultivated. It's not bastardized, chemicalized. Some people give me crap about radiation, this, that. Well, you know what? All I know is what I know. I mean, I use it, and it's effective modality, because what it actually does is everybody's eating the white salt, which is poison, which has sodium silicate in it, which actually attaches to the receptors and causes a brain-blood block barrier to the brain from working. So that's why everybody's walking around in a fog, because the cells are not talking to each other. We got to get the cells talking to each other, and that's us $6 a bag, and grind it up, put it in some distilled water, half a teaspoon a day, and you'll notice that your machine starts coming online, because it's getting the 92 plus trace nutrients that has been missing. Matter of fact, I should have posted that salt link. I have this beautiful 2-page that talks about on the salt issue, live salt versus dead salt. And the white salt is poison. I don't care if they call it sea salt. If it's white, it's poison. Yeah, the crap you get from Walmart, they can masquerade it and give it whatever label they want. But if it's white and it's dry, it's got sodium silicate in it, because that's to keep it's a non-binding agent they put in the white salt. So, the sad part is there's no truth in advertising. They put all this crap out. Now we got the GMO stuff and all this other stuff. So the nice part is we're going to be able to bring this stuff forward a lot quicker. But all this stuff is posted up. But like I say, that's one element that nobody even knows about, is their salt intake. And everybody needs salt, but the right kind of salt, not the white poisonous salt, because it retains fluids, doesn't release fluids, whereas the Celtic salt actually releases the fluid. So for all you girls with some fluid weight gain, get on some Celtic salt. It'll release all the fluids out of your cells and help you drop a couple pounds because you're retaining water.
Hey, Peter, since people are listening, can you recommend a really good salt and where to get it?
Yeah, there's all you gotta do is do a lookup on Celtic gray salt, and there's almost every
health food store has
lots. Yeah, they all carry it by the pound, half pound, and you get your red mill sodium bicarbonate over there. Nobody talks about magnesium chloride. That 95% of the maths are magnesium deficient, so they're not getting the uptake of dense nutrition. But these things will allow for the body to start responding more efficiently if they could get in there. It's dirt cheap modalities. Everybody's high blood pressure problems could probably be resolved very easily just by changing the diet a little, getting on some Celtic salt, and all of a sudden they would restructure the body, the cells, to start actually communicating with each other.
That's amazing. You called me to interview me, but I love listening to you, because you really have spent a lot of hours researching, and I've talked to you on the phone several times, and I really feel your heart. I know that you are passionate about this. And just out of curiosity, for people who do not know you, can you give me a little background on you? How did you get involved with reading did you just jump on the internet, or what did you do? Well,
I just knew all the way coming up through my youth that somebody was telling us some fabrications, through the programming of the school system, like the history lessons they give you. Oh, we're all free. Well, if we're all free, well, I asked Mommy, Daddy, why the hell are you paying a fee, i.e. property tax? If you stop paying, do we have to go? Yep. Well, I said, so how are we free? Well, that's just the way it is. Well, that's bull crap. See, I wasn't. It's like being raised Roman Catholic. They taught me all this bull crap about genuflecting and the votive candles and all this other stuff. And then when at 13, where I had a shift in my head, they said you have to go climb in order to get confirmation. You have to make an appointment with the pastor or the priest and go step in a box with this guy so that he can give you absolution. Really? I says, okay. Now, first of all, that's where we beg to differ. I says,
hey, Peter, that's tradition. That's the mistake of man. It's probably not even biblical if you wanted to go down to that topic. But yeah, it's just really stupidity of tradition. That's all it is. So,
right.
but
well, it's all programming. Stand up, sit down. Anyways, there's a good song. Yeah, stand up, sit down. You're rocking the boat. That was by Don Henley. Came out I think in 1995 or 92. That's a good song if you've never heard it. And it was at him. As a matter of fact, there was Steve Martin was playing that role of traveling from town to town to get people to give over their consent, and he was like a healer. Said he was a healer, anyways, under the guise of religiosity. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying things can't get healed, but like I say, they've created a construct, a belief system that we all bought because we didn't think to challenge anything. We didn't think to look inside of ourselves and go into introspection. Well, why do I got to go crawl in a box? The guy who puts his pants on the same way as I do and asks for forgiveness. I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yep. So I got effectively excommunicated at the ripe old age of 13. So that's when I knew that there was something amiss on my planet, that things weren't as what they appeared. But I bought the stuff as I went. I joined the military at 10 years in as a Navy doc. I was, I bought the protecting my country crap and that all that political grandstanding. If you're part of the body politic, you're sitting on the de facto federal side of the equation, and you got a problem. You have just rights. You don't have any rights. You just have benefits and privileges, and that's where people are getting jammed up with the common law and all this other stuff because they're sitting in they're sitting with the wrong hat on. They're on the federal side when they should be on the de jure side. Their status is incorrect, and that's what I'll be sharing with on Friday.
Yeah, Peter, I know you got that strength in you about protecting ourselves as individuals and making America better. But I was more curious about your medical background, not in medical, but how did you learn about like cannabinoids and different things like that and the cannabis world? Because I know that you make paste. I know you make oil, make edibles, and all kinds of stuff like that. And you're into salts and different enzymes. And stuff like that. How did you get involved with that?
Well, it's ironic. My mom sort of set the pace for me as a child. She used to read stuff, and she always has interesting books that I like to read, like Getting Well with Adele Davis. I mean, at the ripe old age of 9 years old, I was actually reading books like that on medical modalities, alternatives, dense nutrition. So I started really young, knowing that anything that comes from the earth is pretty much, it's supposed to be good for you. I mean, so anything that comes out of a box and you put in a microwave is not. So it's like, and this is why we're in the position we're in. You see, we willingly put stuff into our mouth, whatever, garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you're putting in, that's what you're going to get back on repercussions to fix your machine. If you're living off of quickie meals at McDonald's and eating Pizza Hut at night for supper and sitting in front of the idiot box drinking marginalized beer the beer has also been compromised. So they're drinking this emasculating beer that actually feminizes the man species. So it's no wonder our men folk have lost their way. And then you got the women getting the guys to be relegated to the back of the bus. And I'll let you know what your opinion is. Bullshit. You know, we're all in this together. Nobody is inferior. Nobody is superior. We're walking this walk together. We all come together.
Nicely worded. That is great. Wow. Well, thank you. I was just kind of curious. But anyways, well, fire away with your questions. I know you had quite a few.
Well, folks, for those who've not seen the Link Cannabis page, and it's over on CNN. I got you over on the CNN network. I posted the new cure link. Folks, you know what? Brother Brad and I are comparing notes. This is what I do. So, Brad, I was going to teach the oil. I was going to teach, I know how to do the oil. I know how to do the tincture. I know how to do the butter. I know how to do all this stuff. But if there's an easier, softer way that's going to effectively save that whole pound, like I told you 3 months ago, it was just not sitting in my head nice that I had to dump a pound of weed after I washed it once just to get 60 grams of medicine. I said, this doesn't make sense. I says, and then ironically, a couple of weeks back, I find your site and I says, now this makes sense. And the fact that you expose it with the 10,000-year history, which is also posted on CNN under the Peter Eugene links. Go read up on the history of our cannabis, folks. For thousands of years, they've been doing this alternative that you brought forward, and we didn't even know about it.
Yeah, I stumbled upon it in a very strange way, which I'll mention later. But when you mentioned the 60 grams of what you produced out of a pound, I happen to have a jar of cannabis paste with me right now. I'll go ahead and open it up. And you made one of these, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got 30 of those sitting in the house. I didn't do my dose last night.
Yeah. So what's funny is if you look at it, it's like totally full, the
Yep.
top. Now, the reason why it's like this is because there's 3 methods you can do. Well, there's more than that. You can use, I'm talking about the oil that you add. You can add olive oil, coconut oil, or vegetable glycerin kosher. And what's cool about using vegetable glycerin is it actually rises like a cake. And this is exactly a half ounce of bud ground up with 2 ounces of vegetable glycerin. And you can tell it just went to the lid. And not all of them do that. I don't know why. And it's not temperature. It's not timing. It's just the bud. Sometimes it just rises like a cake. And
it might be extra fluffy. It has extra inherent traits that allows it to become more fluffy. But and if you're dealing with a fluffy type bud, then you might maybe go to instead of 14.5 grams, maybe go to 12 grams. You know what I'm saying? If that's so you don't buckle the top of your jar.
Yeah, it actually is dropping. It's like a cake. It's dropping down when I'm pushing it. Oops, I got it on my wife's laptop. I'm in trouble.
Oh, well, you're in the doghouse.
Oh, yeah. My wife hates the smell of this stuff, too. Do you know what's funny? This is a true – I deal with people all the time with this, and they truly, women do not like the taste of cannabis.
But this stuff tastes great. Hey, brother, I've been tasting it for over a week, and I love it. It's sweet. And, for those who want to get some uptake, you don't have to make it with coconut oil. But if you want uptake with coconut oil, take you half a teaspoon of coconut oil with your pea-sized dose, and now you get the double down effect because it actually allows the cannabinoids to really get deep into the mind, into the brain, into the cells, because that's what the lauric acid, the mid-chain branched amino acids of the coconut oil will actually transfer it where it needs to go. And most people are deficient when it comes to the mid-branch chain amino acids, and most have brain block, blood stem. This is a catalyst to bring your mind back online to allow all those cells to start communicating much more efficiently.
Good point. Have you heard about drinking green tea 1 hour before you take anything with cannabinoids? Well, there was a study that was recently done. Google it, anybody who is listening, about green tea. I think there's an article on our news page. But anyways, what's interesting is it clears out your CB1, CB2 receptors, which clears them out, which makes room for the cannabinoids to sit in the CB1 receptors.
Beautiful. What type of tea would you suggest? Because there's a lot of garbage out there on the store shelves. Most of it's irradiated crap. I wouldn't drink it on any day. Most of the stuff on the grocery store shelves. So there must be a particular brand that's not been compromised. I have a buddy of mine. He actually, his name is Eugene. He's out in Washington State. He does My Green Tea, and his stuff's not compromised. No fillers, no chemicals. He's real astute when it comes to having a superior product, not an inferior product.
Yeah, interesting. Wow. Hey, I want to tell you a little joke that I heard last week.
All right.
Got to put a little humor to this moment here. I was talking about how cannabis doesn't taste good to women.
Right.
And men think it tastes fine. Men will go, yeah, this is good stuff, man. I can hack it. Excuse me, men probably could eat dog poop if they had to, Yeah. But I'm sorry for that. But anyways, check this out.
That's all right.
The reason why I thought of the dog thing is, so it's New Year's Day, and we had a wonderful party here at my house. And there was a bunch of people, and we had this meeting. And I give my dog every single day the doggy cancer.
Oh, nice, brother. Wow, that's nice.
So if you look at it, it's doggy cancer paste. Anyway, so I take a spoon out and I drop it on the floor and I go, Hannah, come here. And she comes up and she just eats it. And so this lady, we just got done having like a 20-minute conversation about how bad this stuff tastes and how men like the taste and women don't. And you know what the lady said? She goes, well, what do you expect? Men are dogs.
Oh my goodness. Hello. Wow.
Dog just walks up and eats it, and we like it, but women don't. And so I just thought I'd throw a little bit of humor in there for you.
Yeah, well, you know, maybe melt some chocolate for those gals who need it to be a better taste. The taste is fine, bro. And there's no, that's a lot better tasting than the oil.
Yeah, I'd have to say that. Wow, check that out. Gee, I don't know what that is, but that scares me. I feel like you're going to shoot me in the butt with that or something.
Yeah. Well, it's actually, it works all right. But like I say, the fact that you're burning at such a high temperature, folks, to make this, and you're compromising the terpenes. About 90% of the terpenes are not getting into this medicine here. So
yes.
And the neat part is, when you emulsify at a low heat to that beautiful temperature, allows the carboxylation to take place and allow all those terpenes to literally bleed into the paste. So it's a usable construct for the body to get all the dense nutrition as well as the medical capacities of that paste. And not only that, geez, you get to make 32 months of medicine with 1 pound versus 3 months, which is about.
You get jars and 32 of these jars. It's amazing. Hey, you know what? You brought up the terpenes. What's interesting is, did you see that Analyticals 360 test that was done by a guy in Seattle on some paste he made? Did you happen to see that? Oh, okay. Well, it's under edibles. If you go to analytical360.com, there's a guy, and funny thing is his name is Brad.
Of course.
But he spells it B-R-A-D-D. I don't know how in the world. That's like ADD or something. But what he did is he tested the paste, and he came up with like 7.6 on terpenes.
Wow.
On the paste because it's not overheated, and it's the most natural form of cannabis. And so what's amazing, I don't know if you know this, but I really don't know the facts on this because I didn't do any research on it, but I saw a lot of the oils were running around 1, 2, 3% on terpenes.
Yep.
Okay. And this ran 7.6 or something, like 7.63. I mean,
that's about that's about a 700% increase.
Yes. And I want to make a note on that. Now, we're probably kind of all burned out on hearing all these stats and facts and all this about cannabinoids, but let me bring out an interesting point. There are 70 cannabinoids in cannabis right as of now. There are studies that are saying there are 500.
Wow.
But I mean, let's just stick to the 70. That's a good enough number for me. I mean, that's wow. Now, we all talk about THC, CBD, CBG, and all these other ones, right? Well, what's amazing is when you overheat cannabis, I know that THC is the strongest cannabinoid that survives through the highest heat. And when you make oil, forgive my numbers, it runs between, because everybody's got different facts, but it runs between like 220 at the lowest to 311 degrees. What do you come up with when you make oil? And then I'll jump on the rest of that story. But what's your stats when you make Rick Simpson oil or oil? What temperature do you think your product gets the highest temperature? Would you guess?
Oh, I'm not sure. You know what? I've never been able to test the countertop distiller, which you cook off the ethanol in. So I don't know what the temperature is inside. It has no temperature sensor on that unit.
It doesn't. Most people don't know. And it runs anywhere from 220 to 311 in average. But what's amazing is if you overheat those cannabinoids. Now, I'm going to sound like I'm going to make kind of a joke here. I look at it as either aliens or God brought this plant to planet Earth for us as a cure.
Yeah.
Okay. I choose God over aliens, even though I believe in aliens because there's a big galaxy out there. That's a long conversation. But let's say it's God. Well, what's funny is that back in 2,000 years ago, they were making paste. It was they didn't strain it out in cheesecloths. It was an oily base because it disintegrated. It was like a real oily type effect, more than not thick like this. But the point is that they didn't have frying pans and they didn't have 190 proof or isopropyl alcohol or butane. They simply stuck it in clay jars out in the sun like sun tea. And that temperature right there was very delicate. And the magical, I call it anointed. That's my new word, anointed or magical properties of all these cannabinoids working together were not destroyed by the high heat of alcohol and all this. So now there's articles right as we speak that are popping all over the place about terpenes. And they're saying how wonderful these are, and they're finding out how valuable they are. Well, paste has the highest level of them out of anything there is other than juicing. Okay. So that tells me that the cannabinoids, I believe, were not destroyed in the overheating. And the anointing word I use is these cannabinoids work together. And that's why I think paste is so awesome. I want to tell everybody that I used to make oil, and I believe in oil, and I love Rick Simpson, and I've been beat up, and I love all that.
Okay, let's make this clear while we're on there. Okay. I love Brother Rick. I'm down with Brother Rick. He's the magic man. He started the party, 2003, got the party started. So, I got to give the man kudos because he's got us all looking into the portals in the right direction, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be looking at the alternative modalities that may be so much more effective. We don't all have all the answers. The jury's out. I mean, it's ironic. They do 20,000 studies on this stuff, then they bury the studies, but it's the most studied plant on the planet. And now you got scumbags or us are trying to control it through the course of patents and all this other stuff, but they can only patent a chemical synthetic. They can't patent the actual plant. I don't give a shit what they say.
Yeah, I agree with you. Good point. Well, let me finish that story. What happened was he made that oil, and the people that are listening right now, they know all about it because they went beyond your channel today listening. But the thing is that I mentioned in a video I did before, things change, we evolve, we find new things. And my heart behind this is I want to tell the world that, man, I'm excited. There's things that we all find wonderful things. I didn't find, I discovered through other ways about the paste being, it's like canning tomatoes, but at a low temperature. And okay, now let me jump to the punchline on this.
All right.
CBD and THC work together.
Yes.
Now, in studies, you'll hear about CBD somewhat voiding out the hallucinogenic effect of THC. And many people have heard that. Now, why is it that the CBD works together like that with THC? Well, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. There has to be all those other 68 cannabinoids. What are they doing together?
Yep.
Okay. So we need to look at what is the most natural form of this cannabis after it's been decarboxylated.
Right.
That's why I believe it's amazing. Now, I'm going to tell a secret that nobody's ever heard, ever, not publicly tell anybody this, but I'm going to tell a secret on your CCN, correct? Right? I always get that CBN.
Yeah, the other CNN. This is the other CNN. This ain't your mama's TV station.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell you something funny. People believe always that the paste that I make is 100% bud. Okay. Well, what I do is I take and use the whole entire plant, and after it's ground up, I take the cotton balls and I give it to a textile person that makes shirts. Okay. Now that cotton, it's really strong because it won't grind up. You can't eat it or nothing. So I take the leaves and the bud and I grind it all up. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a product that these trichomes are so strong and they're undamaged by the low temperature. Now, here's the proof in the pudding, the part that I'm going to tell you. I used to give away all the time just leaves. Okay.
Right, that's hell, brother. You got juicing from heaven. I mean, you can juice it. You don't have to cook it. You can use it as a dense form of nutrition in a juicing capacity, and that'd be a real good idea.
Yes. Now I'm going to show you something. This here is bud, but I'm going to show you. See this right here? Do you see how much that is?
Yep.
Okay.
That looks like about 2 grams.
Okay. Now, if you were to take just trim and eat that, and you're not a regular recreational user,
yeah,
I am not kidding you. You will get kicked like a donkey off trim.
Wow.
Now,
really?
now, why is that? Okay. Now, if you were to cook this into brownies and use that much, you'd get nothing hardly at all.
Right.
See, that's my proof in the pudding that when you treat this the way it meant to be treated, it will kick you like a donkey if you're a recreational user. It'll help you sleep if you're a medical user. It'll help you in so many, cancer, epilepsy, Lyme, and all that. But that's what sold me is when I was making a jar of this, I was scared to give it to somebody because I said, it's just trim. It's just leaves. And they took some and I heard so many stories over the last 2 years about just the leaves as absolutely so medicinal. It's unbelievable.
Yep. Oh, I know. I got people who are wanting to, where's the test on this and the test on that? I say, don't do it. You need to go do something else. See, if you're not willing to do research on the 10,000 year history, I mean, none of this stuff is made up. If this resonates for you to take this as a medicine, then take it. If it doesn't, then don't. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. All I know is the crap that they're feeding them, the chemical therapy, will never, ever resolve the cancer issue.
Good point. May I jump on that one?
Sure.
Okay. Let's look at it in a logical way. Now, I'm not going to use high-fluted words. Let's just say you got cancer, 4th stage, and you go to the doctor and you do chemo. Why did you get cancer in the first place? Okay, let's look at that issue. So you got cancer in the first place. Now you get chemo. It kills off your cancer if you're lucky. Let's say it did. And then after the cancer is gone, let's look at your body now. You're still the same you were in the beginning. You got cancer. Why did you get cancer? Your system, your enzymes, your flora, your alkaline, whatever is off. Your food, diet, something, stress, it's off. So now that you destroyed your immune system with the chemo, it's going to kill you it's going to come back with a vengeance. So the whole problem, and people don't get the simplicity of why chemotherapy is so bad. It's not because it's just killing your body. It's just, it's an excuse to say, I'm doing something to fix this problem, but you never fix the problem. You did never do it. That's where we need to get the point of that.
All right, let's talk about this for a second. On the medical side, since I spent some time there, all these white coats, let's take a look at this. 90% of all oncologists will not subscribe to the same protocols they're putting little Johnny on. What's wrong with this picture? And not only that, brother, I just posted this link yesterday about the 75% of all the regular physicians won't use the same protocols themselves. Yet we've had B17, Laetrile, food-grade hydrogen peroxide, the Rife machine with Raymond Royal Rife, all these different modalities that have been brought to the fore. And these nefarious ones always do their best, their damnedest to quash any information on that. I mean, Laetrile was huge back in 72, 73. Now you don't hear shit about it. Well, that's because, here's another cheap alternative that we can't patent that they could use.
Yes, let me jump on the one small part on that.
B17, weren't you talking about integrating B17 with the using of the paste?
Well, say that again.
Weren't you talking about using integrating B17 Laetrile with the paste?
Well, not in the same jar, but yes. Yes, on our website, we have 25 natural ways to kill off cancer. We do
Yeah.
not just promote pace. I spend 45 minutes on average with every person on the phone when I consult with them. And
Yeah.
cannabis is just one of the most amazing things.
Yeah.
But again, cannabis is like, forgive me, I'm going to make a joke, and don't take this literally, people. Cannabis is one of these things that's almost like chemotherapy. It's actually destroying the cancer, but you still didn't fix the problem.
Right, because if you still keep feeding the machine, drinking fluoridated water, eating genetically modified food
Yes.
products, doing no exercise, changing up what you're bringing into your body to fight. If you're not doing any physical exercise to jar the lymph nodes loose so the blood can flow. I mean, because the sedentary lifestyles really cause people major duress as well because the
Yes.
blood is not flowing. That's why I do power walks and I lift a little bit of weights and I jar my system loose so that it can release, so I'm not getting backed up and toxic, you know?
Good point. Yes. Let me jump on the B17 statement. In the 1950s, they did a study on apple seeds, and all of us know, we've heard this. Oh, it's poison. It's got cyanide in it. Well, here's the deal. You take and separate salt, you got poison. You separate Laetrile, vitamin B17, you got cyanide. These things that we mess with Mother Nature and we dissect, separate, whatever we do, it's not right. It's not natural. So there are hundreds of foods out there, flaxseed oil, apricot kernel. You know them all.
Cumin, black cumin, my goodness, the ginger. I mean, there's so many different protocols, so many simple, cheap modalities, and most people are unaware.
Yes. In Alaska, they're talking about the Eskimos, and we've heard all kinds of stories about Eskimos and a lack of cancer. Well, what's so funny about it is in their food chain that they have the highest level of vitamin B17 in the food chain up there in Alaska, and
Really?
because of the photosynthesis and different things like that. So that is, like I said, I always like to make things really look simple because it is so simple. It is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the folks, if you haven't seen the 19-minute video, there's on his cure.org. He's got some nice videos. Yeah, go watch those. Talking about the cancer industry and stuff like that. I mean, brother, they have no vested interest on giving a cure. So let's nip this in the bud for big pharma, FDA, and the way the system's wired, folks. It's all about the money. It has nothing to do with you. They have no intent to ever cure you, because if they did, they wouldn't have a repeat customer.
That's so true. Yes. You know, it's comical. I live in Colorado, and it's like everybody talks about this place. I mean, I became a celebrity just because I lived in Colorado. It's pretty comical. But, you know, just last week, the Colorado State General guy, I forgot his name, he goes, it's illegal for people to make oil in their home. Have you heard about that?
No.
Okay. So what's amazing about that, you're talking about government. People are actually, we could all get angry. We could do all these things about all the crap we hear all day long. But the bottom line is this.
One momento, brothers. One momento. I'm on a live TV show. I'll have to catch you later. Bye. Thank you. There.
The bottom line is if we all keep the strains that we have. It's funny, I brought a plant for you today.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah, this is actually
Miss America. That's Miss America right there. There she is.
I know. This is Charlotte's Web.
Very nice.
Right there. And because we're all in the same circle up here. Anyways, but the point is this, is the reason why I grabbed that plant is sure, they can make Marinol, they can do all these different things, that they can patent stuff, but they're never going to take my plant away from me. And I have the right to grow this, and there's never will be a chance that this will be altered. And I'm not worried about them GMOing anything.
Right.
We have too much of this growing in our backyard in Nebraska and everywhere.
Yeah, there's 7 billion of us that we can become self-sufficient, finding some good seed stock to start your game, and then you're good to go, and you can cultivate from there, and you'll always be self-sufficient beyond
yes.
I talk to people, it's not legal here. Well, I guess you're going to wait for your permission slip. Well, you're going to go to the boneyard, wait for your damn permission slip, because I don't need permission from anybody to ingest a plant.
Yes, exactly. And so let me share to people, do not, I talk to people every single day, all day long, and I had to shut my phone off for this. But I want to express to people, the reason why we're in this mess is because of fear.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I try to encourage people to, this is not literal, but I wish it was, where they take a sign and they put it in their yard and it says, cannabis cured my cancer, or something like that.
Right.
Put it in front yard and say that in Texas, and if everybody started doing that, everybody's gonna say, hey, Martha, look, that lady over there, they did it. And everybody's gonna say, that's the reason why we're in this mess again, is because of fear. Everybody has got to be obnoxious, not as obnoxious as you, but I'm joking. I love you. I just love teasing. I joke with this guy on the phone a bit. So,
that's all right, brother. I take things light, but
no, it's good.
Right. It's the fear porn in the head, the programming, and like I say, over at Privatis.Me, what I do is, Brad, I've actually created a portal where people can go through and deconstruct the lies so that they can find their way out. Because, like I say, they've got us all in wearing the wrong hat. They've all got us in the federal construct of the system. Yeah. And there is a private side, and they know that there's a private side, and they'll let you go to the private side because they can't stop free will. You just have to know that you can operate in that free will. And if you're going to let fear dictate bringing your birthright home, then guess what? You're going to have to go suffer the slings and arrows of the pain that they're going to bring to your doorstep, because these are things you're happy sitting at his buffet table. And if you're throwing meatballs at his head and you're still sitting at that buffet table, i.e. you're on the voter rolls, guess what? You signed up for mere benefits and privileges, and he can tell you to go get those shots. He can go tell you to get that chip put in your ass, because you gave over consent on all these adhesion contracts through your entire life, because we have 5 generations who went to sleep who didn't know what we know now.
Yes, good point. And people, we need to redirect attacks. I'll give you an attack. There is a group out there that I'm not going to mention that bashes on cannabis paste, and Nucure, our organization, they ripped me apart. 45,000 people group. And the thing is this, they'll say something like this: can you prove that paste is better than oil? And I say, well, I'm confused by that question, because first of all, paste is cannabis.
It does have the oil molecules. You're just not going to fry it to kill all the terpenes. You're going to allow it to, through a natural emulsification process, to actually immerse itself, release its beautiful energies, its medicines, its medicinal capacities. Yeah. And that's why the slow emulsification process of the slow cook is incredible. And you know what? We did a double baked paste, brother. We got crazy. We did 12 hours the first one. Then we said, we're going to give it another 4 hours. We added a little bit more oil because we thought it was a little dry, because it was our first time. But I'll tell you what, double baked paste.
Wasn't
2 hours later.
Right?
2 hours later, you take a dose. 2 hours. It's working.
Well, let me tell you why it's kind of nice being dry like this, is because you can actually knock it off your finger like this, and my finger is clean.
Right.
And the reason why you do that is because you can shove them in gelatin capsules. You can dosage don't leak all over the place. You can drop a piece on the floor and your dog will come up and eat it.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of really good things. And one cool thing about you did is when you bring the hours longer, like 4 hours, like you did.
Extra 4, yeah.
You create CBG. Now, if you have somebody that has trouble sleeping, what you want to do is you increase the cook time of the paste, and that turns THC into CBG, and therefore you're sleep better if you have sleep apnea or different problems like that.
Right. Yeah. I think the longer you bake it, the better. I mean, we've never done it for like you said, you're going to field test it at 15 hours, 16, 17, 18. Just for shits and giggles, roll it in and let it go for 24 hours. I'd like to do a 24-hour special dosage and see how that comes out. I think it's going to be even stronger. Now, here's some irony. Yeah, we had a pound that we had washed, and I dried it all out, so we get to reuse it again. And I know there's like 90% of the cannabinoids and the medicine still stuck behind from the first wash.
Oh, please. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. And then I'm jumping on that one.
Suck it out. We get to use it and we can bake and paste. It's all good because we didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's insane. Yes. You still got 80 to 90% of the value, and you're going to put it in the garbage can. It doesn't even make sense. So that's when, like I said, you brought this forward a couple of weeks ago. I found you and I said, now this makes sense. And it doesn't have any deleterious effects. It's a food grade, and your body's going to absorb all those beautiful terpenes and all these other constructs that have immersed and emulsified into that paste from that slow cooking time. So for those want to cast stones of dispersion, feel free. Go make yourself some oil for $3,000 a pound and throw out that pound. And if you choose to, well, you just throw away 90% of your medicine.
87.2. But you're right. The same thing. Exactly.
Are you splitting hairs with me, Brad? What the hell?
Check this out. I told you this on the phone the other day. I think I did. There was this lady that called me about 3 months ago, and she said, you know, I like this idea of this paste thing. And I'll tell you why. She goes, what was the funniest thing is I made Rick Simpson oil. Awesome. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. But what was funny about it is she actually took the 14 ounces left over. It's actually more than that. All the leftover leaves, the matter. And she took that and she about tossed it into the trash. And she goes, hang on, I'm going to dry this out. So she dried it out just on a cookie sheet and let it sit for a day or two. I can't remember how long. And then what she did is she took some and she's a recreational user.
Right, recreational smoke.
Yeah, she rolled a joint. I think that's what she told me. And she got ripping stoned.
Yep.
Now, so let's look at the facts of that. So if you put the whole plant in here and you eat the whole plant, it's been decarboxylated, you're getting all the THC, CBD, and all the 68 other cannabinoids.
Yes.
But if you take and you have this leftover 14 ounces out of that pound, because you get 2 ounces of oil.
Yep.
Okay, and you have 14 ounces left over, you throw in the trash, and you roll a joint and you get stoned. That tells me something is not right. And check this out. What you're doing is when you're only giving that much THC and CBD into that syringe you have right there.
Yep.
Just for fun, for visual, can you show that again?
Yep.
Thanks. That right there. What is in that? That is about 20% of the CBD and THC of.
Yeah, we left the rest behind after we cooked it. We didn't know.
It's in the plant matter.
Yes.
And here's my ancient thoughts. You know, way back then, they didn't use frying pans and alcohol.
Right.
They didn't need frying pans and alcohol. You know, and so I just wonder, why can't we start opening up our minds and think about, guess what? This might be obsolete in a year from now.
Yeah, we might find something that's even better, faster, quicker, easier. I mean, this is what this is all about, this planetary shift I call. We throw the information out, and I want somebody who's better, smarter, faster, brighter than me to bring some forward. And that was the objective. Even when I started teaching people how to make the ethanol, the tincture, the oil, I said, somebody's going to find a shortcut, and that's fantastic. This is not about me. This is about bringing the creative mindset to the house and say, hey, guess what? Here's another protocol that you probably never considered, and here's why it will have beneficial effects or whatever. And that's the huge part. So, brother, 7 billion of us on the planet. There's people smarter than me all day long.
Oh, man, nice words. Can you imagine having 32 of these? Do you know what that does to people? It makes it 10 to 11 times cheaper for the consumer.
Yep.
What that does is there's hundreds of thousands of people that say in their mind, I don't have $3,000.
Right.
I don't have I don't have $600.
Yep.
But could you imagine making this for, I get ripped on, you know, people say, how can you sell that for $125? We don't sell it. it's a donation.
It's a donation. And not only that, let's get some clarity to that real quick. So for all you numbskulls who don't buy weed regular, go buy a half ounce of weed for the 14 grams from a dispensary. You're going to spend a couple $100.
Yep. Oh, it's amazing. Well, yeah. Well, there's so many different fluctuations in price. If it's illegal in Texas, you're paying $3 to $5 grand a pound. But again, it's just we need to share the fact that you can make this without blowing up your kitchen with vape. And let me jump on that. Now, people, please forgive me. I'm not trying to like bash on something that somebody else created. No. I'm trying to share with you. Again, down the road, this will be obsolete. Just watch and see. But for now, take a look at the comparison between setting up fans and how explosive it is. If you Google cannabis explosions on Google it, you'll find numerous articles of people being seriously hurt. And I'm not going to tell stories because I know them. I know one personally. Now, what you do is you simply grind this up, the green powder, and hang on. Well, hang on.
I'll tell you what, brother. If you got a half an ounce and you got if you got your stuff set up, you could grind up a bowl and.
I don't have everything set up because I didn't want to bore you guys. But check out these buds. These are nice, big, fat buds.
Beautiful. Oh, those are nice buds.
Yeah, I mean, huge.
Beautiful.
And then, excuse me, people, I'm just going to get up for a second, grab something right here. Don't go anywhere. I'm just grabbing.
All right. We're good.
And here we go. And then what we got here is ground up. We put them in all these big containers. We put 4 pounds per container.
Right.
And so yeah. So this one here, this one's not all the way full. This is like 1.5 pounds. Anyways, and so you simply just stick it in. You stick a half ounce in a jar, and you're going to teach this, Peter. Peter's on it, man. So you just put a half ounce. I'm getting cannabis all over myself. I know my wife goes, go take a shower. Anyways, but you put a half ounce of the ground up stuff I just showed you, add 2 ounces of vegetable glycerin, put the lid on, throw it into a big pan, and cook at it for 10.5 hours at 176 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
No fans, no explosions. Now, by saying that, I want to bring a point. Look at us people that believe in cannabis. There is a huge chunk of the world that thinks we are stoners or like radicals or, like just out here. Okay. Let's eliminate one of those problems. The way we can eliminate one of those problems is if we learn how to not blow ourselves up and look like idiots. Wouldn't that help us a little bit? I mean, let's just think of something that's more not canning. We can't be criticized for canning something.
No. Well, like I say, I have a countertop unit to do the ethanol and the oil process, which is self-contained, so you don't have to worry about fumes and all that stuff. But now that I look further down the spectrum, I want to use 100% of what I have to work with. Why would I want to throw 90% out of a product that I needed to use, and I could use the whole darn thing? And it's waste not, want not. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, and another nice thing is people can go out and score at 14 grams or 28 grams an ounce and make themselves a couple jars in their house in 2 seconds flat. It's that damn simple.
Oh, it's so easy. How about this view? I just thought of something for the first time. How about people continue on making the RSO, but don't throw the leftovers in the trash and just smoke it?
No, send them to me. I'll be glad to take care of them. I'll dry them out and I'll reuse them.
Yeah. Wait. Let's make paste out of your leftover, considering it has 80% of the leftover THC and CBD in it.
Well, hey, you know what, Brad? Maybe we need to integrate with all these oil makers saying, what are you doing with the weed? Are you chucking it out? You don't have to. Box it up and we'll dry it out ourselves.
I know. I'll feed it to my dog and get rid of,
No. I'll make dense nutrition out of it. I'll put it in my salad. I'll put it in my kale or my damn I can, load it in some coconut oil and make a meal out of it. You talk about dense nutrition. Holy crap.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Hey, I'm looking at this couple questions that we were going to talk about.
Okay.
And I think we're doing really good today because we've covered a lot on so far. There's one funny thing though that I wanted to bring up is you had talked to me about this, and there's people, it's hard for them to change. We put in our mind a certain way to do something.
Yeah.
And I have been accused, and I just want to bring this up because it's the first time I publicly talked about it. I have been accused for growing cannabis in Colorado, spraying it with 52 pesticides.
Oh, geez, really?
Wait. Now watch this. Now, please, if anybody's watching this, this is absolutely an eye opener. Has anybody ever sprayed 52 pesticides on tomatoes? Has there ever been a pesticide that has 52 pesticides on it? So what I did was about 4 months ago, I called up, what's the name of them? It was a pest control company. I forgot the name of them. And I called them up and I said, I got a funny question for you. I said, is there any chemicals out there that has 52 pesticides in it? And he goes, absolutely not. The prime ingredients is up to 3, maybe 1 or 2, 3 different ones that work together. So on this forum, somebody created this fake document saying that we had 52 pesticides in the cannabis. Now, are you ready for the punchline? That's besides ludicrously crazy. That's like saying, I had this one thing I wrote. It's like saying you have 400 teeth in your mouth. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. But what was funny about it was the cannabis that I was using at the time, I bought from Greenworks. No, not Greenworks, from I forgot the name of them. I get different growers. What they do is they smuggle me it, you could say, because it's kind of under the table sell. But we don't do that anymore, so I can't get in trouble anymore for saying that online. No. But anyways, it was organic. Organic. They're a certified organic grower. And
okay, now let's take a look at whoever was throwing that stone is a numbskull, and they're just trying to create mayhem because you know what? They got nothing better to do with their miserable, sorry lives, and they would like to keep people from actually fixing and repairing themselves with some dirt cheap modality. He's probably some government scumbag shill who got in the mix. And can you say shill? Because they're everywhere. I get morons from all over the world putting their 2 cents on it. And I know when they're a shill like that, you know why? Because they show how stupid they really are. Because especially like Project Pink, people that I had to check this out, brother. You're gonna like this. I had this guy who was on Project Pink. He was posting the link saying, yeah, everybody support this, and yeah, go get your pink pretty towel and go send some money to Project Pink. The people that sponsor Project Pink make tamoxifen, which actually causes cancer of the breast. I mean, so you know what? But I got onto this guy. I jammed him up real nice. I posted over on his site because then he's trying to say, I never said that. And I said, you're a liar. And then I went over to his link that he had the Project Pink on. And he was in a room posting his lies, calling me a liar. And then I posted the article and I said, read it and weep, bro. Here's you're endorsing tamoxifen, which is a poison for your sisters. And so you're a liar, crook, and a thief. So you must be a shill for government. And next thing you know, Brad, he ran away. He discontinued his link, terminated his link because I caught him stone cold in his lie.
I love that. And guess what? There was somebody like you with that kind of attitude that inspired me to do this one thing. They said, shut your mouth and the course will run its way. But then after months of garbage on this, they said, wait a minute, I got an idea. Why don't you do a $25,000 cook-off? And I'm like, let's do it. So I said, I'll take $25,000 cash and I'll do, and it's, there was a press releases. If you Google, anybody Googles it, $25,000 cook-off, you'll find the article on it. Well, in short, I was challenging this guy that has 45,000 users to a cook-off because he was saying paste is a waste. New cure is
waste, yeah.
It's a good slogan, paste is a waste. I kind of like that, but it doesn't quite make truth, you know? So, but
pace prevents waste.
there, oh my gosh, see, hey, Peter, somebody donate to this guy. Somebody, come on, donate. I'll match the check today. So anyways, like Peter's going, dear God, please. Anyways, but yeah, isn't that funny? So if we corner people with the truth and challenge them without using profanity, without calling them trailer trash, without insulting them, just say, you know, it is hard to do. Our flesh wants to come out and say, hurrah! But you've got the loser is the one that loses their temper.
Right. But now that's what I like about like even on the oil, I got to give the oil kudos because it does have effective modalities. It's just,
yes,
but we could be doing something different or better. I'm like I say, in no way am I marginalizing oil. I'm just looking at the whole spectrum of this plant that's been getting chucked out by the pound. It needs to be kept and reworked and emulsified into a 100% usable medicine so that you're not chucking anything into your garden as a compost pile. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. You made me think of that. That's funny. Anybody wants to make oil, go for it. Just use the leftover to make some paste.
Or re-dry out. Right, there you go. That's a double down effect. Brother, Brad, you're a genius. Okay, very good, brother. Now we're talking. So, hey, you bought the pound, you own the son of a bitch. So guess what? You might as well use it all up, dry it out after you've washed the terpenes and your medicine off of doing the liquid process. Go dry it out, and now you've got 32 months of paste you can reuse and make paste and use it in conjunction with the oil.
Yes, you'll lose about 20% or 20%, I don't know, depending, but still you got 80% potent leftover.
That's a lot of stuff, brother.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You really don't need to increase the dose. I mean, this stuff is very potent. It works well. Obviously buds are better than leaves, but you can get a pound of buds and use your pound of buds. I mean, we used a pound of buds, and I'll tell you what, it's very, very potent.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You know what? I wanted to inspire some people here listening. I have cried a lot of times on the phone with people. I have so much feeling. These people right now, I'm emotional. These people call me dying on the phone. And they're looking for hope, and it's so moving and powerful. I can't believe I'm emotional. Sorry.
No, let it out. You know what? People just see the heart. All about the heart.
This is the greatest thing that ever happened in my life. Of doing what I do now, if it's because at times I would doubt cannabis seriously because people would die on me, and I'm like, dear God, why are these people dying? I'm risking my butt giving this stuff out. I got a family and a daughter, and I'm risking my butt doing this. I'm like, crazy. My wife was not behind me at all at the beginning of this. I got to straighten out. I don't want to be emotional here, but there's a point behind this, is that the encouragement that I want to share to people is that I've seen more people with amazing stories of wonderful things happening to them by the pace. I have people, this guy, what's so funny, we just talked recently, Peter, and there was, I tell you the most recent stories because I have so many of them. I always tell what's fresh on my mind. But for example, there's this guy, Daryl. Anyways, so Daryl, he's dying of cancer, and has no energy, and he started on the paste, and he's got Lyme disease on top of it. It's just horrific. And anyway, so he can barely get around. He's like 42 or 52, I can't remember. So he calls me up a couple days ago, and he tells me this. He goes, he was so excited. I can't show that excitement right now because I'm still getting out of my emotion right now. But he goes, I can go up 2 steps at a time. I can walk my dog. I feel like I sleep at night. It's just like, it's amazing. It hasn't cured his cancer yet, but his placebo, his attitude is going just in that stuff is going to change his life.
Okay, yeah, brother. Let me interrupt it because you know what? You're hitting the nail on the head. See, part of this getting well is making a conscious decision to help yourself, not listen to somebody else who's saying, here, we got something that's good for you. We're going to practice on you with our poisons. No, see, you know what, man,
you can't even talk. You're feeling it too. Yeah, keep going, Barry.
You know, when you get to see somebody eye to eye, like my Colonel buddy down in Florida, he didn't really need me to go over there and make his liposomal vitamin C, but I went over there because he just wanted to support what he was stepping into. He was doing something good. He knew in his heart he was doing something good for himself, but just to be able to see in the soul of a man who had been through the chemo scam, he knew they lied to him. He's ex-military, like the Air Force. He bought the lie to. He was all-around Agent Orange Vietnam days. He showed me the 55-gallon drums, the pictures when he was out in Vietnam.
I got people like that, Agent Orange, same disease. Keep going, though. Keep going.
So, you know, he was able, and his daughter, 30 days after he'd been on the liposomal C, I also got him on some coconut oil and some hemp powder, all natural, no THC in the hemp powder, because it reconstructs and rebuilds the body, the organs, the blood pressure, resets the structure in the body. So got him on some dense nutrition, but just the fact he was an integral part of his own decision, and that's half the battle of getting over the bridge, even as, for those suffering with cancer. I mean, you know, for those who don't know it, though, folks, all these people have been radiated. This breaks the DNA down, and that's why it's insane. It's barbarism. This is insane. You know, the friggin' aliens are probably looking down at this planet saying these people are freaks. You know, I mean, they poison their people. They put these, they radiate them 10,000 times more than what they need, and they're killing every cell in their body. And these people actually give over consent to go get these barbaric procedures done because they've been programmed and lied to for 100 stinking years. And I'm really pissed off at Big Pharma and the medical community because, you know what? They're all compartmentalized, and even when you show them the truth, they're in friggin' denial. You know what? So they can live in denial. Okay, you live in denial about this truth.
I know. Peter, here's the funny thing, and everybody's listening. See, doctors are people, just like us, and we wonder how in the world did we get brainwashed like that? And it's just a really sad situation. So the best thing we can do instead of just attacking these people and calling them idiots, is to be inspired. We have to inspire them. My wife's over here looking at me. Why are you crying?
Peter's called me a name. Damn it.
I know, Vienna. Yep, she's over there. But let me tell you another story because there's a lot of great information, everybody, to go out and research and look on. But I just want to tell you a good one. This one's funny. This guy, I mean, I'm so bad with names. That's my weakness. My wife knows all their names because she deals on the admin side. There's this guy, let's call him Jeff. Jeff calls me up about 4 months ago and he goes, when I walk, my leg shakes all over the place and people call me a freak. I am a freak. I'm the freak. So anyway, I've talked to him all that, and he had some neurological problems and stuff like that. And I forgot his history, if it was Nam or whatever it was he was in. He was an older guy, not too old. It wasn't Nam. It was Iraq. And so he calls me a month exactly later and says, I'm on my second jar. And the guy breaks down crying on the phone, and he goes, I can't believe it. I'm not a freak anymore. He actually, when he walks, his leg.
It's fixing his shakes. It's actually getting the neurotransmitters to actually communicate and rewrite themselves.
Yes. And so now when he walks, he can walk with dignity. I mean, I got so many stories. I could tell you about cancer, epilepsy, Lyme, and all this stuff. But what's cool about this and funny about this is you haven't even heard the rest of the story. The guy told me the negative thing that happened to him, is he started experiencing some pretty severe pain in the foot that he banged on everything all the time. So what that meant, there was regenerative properties in cannabinoids.
Right. It's reestablishing the nerve endings and all that trauma he's been through is now right itself and fix itself.
Yes. Yes. And so, so now he's not a freak, but he's in pain. I mean, he was so happy. He goes, I'm so happy to feel this pain because it's the first time in years he could feel his foot.
Wow.
And here's my very first story of me getting into this business. I got to go pick up my daughter at school. And she actually got out of school 10 minutes ago. So I've got a jet here.
Very good.
But I want to tell you, my very first customer was my dad. What's the matter with me? I don't know why it's my dad.
It's all right, brother. Hey, we get to share the love, man. This is the heart. It's all about the heart, man.
I swear, it must be that time of the month.
No, they got to see the human side of the heart. This is all about the heart. I keep saying that.
But anyways, so what happened is my dad's got Alzheimer's really bad. And I play lead guitar for a church. And of all places, I'm a cannabis guy and a church guy. It's kind of a weird combination. I know people.
Yeah, but don't even get me on the religious bent, brother, because they've twisted things sideways on a whole different level. But onward.
Anyways, yeah, no doubt. Anyways, and so my dad's got Alzheimer's, and I was playing guitar, and we had a great Sunday where I was jamming out. This guy that looks like Mr. Clean comes up to me and he says, "Man, I love that guitar solo. That's so cool. Hey, are you going to be here next week? This is my first time." And I said, "Well, no, I'm going to go to Arizona and visit my dad. He's got Alzheimer's."
Right.
And he goes, "Hang on." And what's so funny about this is the pastor was standing right in the circle, actually there's 4 or 5 of us right there. And he goes, "Hang on.
I gotta catch something outside the door. 2 seconds. Just keep going.
Okay. I'll keep telling this story so people can listen." So my dad, so my dad's got Alzheimer's, and I told him this, and I said, sorry, I'm distracted because he went outside there. I'll wait till he comes back and he can edit this. I saw somebody in the background back there in his back window.
Sorry. Anyways, all good.
Okay. Oh, no problem. So anyways, this guy runs out to his car and he grabs this jar. It was a mason jar too.
Right.
That's part of where I got the idea from, that he didn't make paste. He actually was honey cannabis oil.
Ah.
And he comes back in, he goes, "Give this to your dad." And I'm like, "You're kidding me." And what's so funny about it is the pastor was there and he goes, "He's cool. It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's good." I said, it was making a joke. I took and gave this to my dad when I visited him. And what happened is my mom said it was the greatest thing I ever did in my life, which is kind of insulting if you actually think about it. but my dad became very pleasant, not grumpy, and his memory came back. And my mom to this day feeds him this stuff every day.
Beautiful. And hey, while she's at it, make sure she gets her about some extra virgin coconut oil. Brother, you talk about uptake. It's like a double down effect. I'm telling you, the coconut oil. I don't like cooking with it, but I'll dose with it. It's a parallel adjunct that actually capitalizes. It's almost like a synergistic effect because of the lauric acid that's going all the way deep into the brainstem to get to the third eye blind, i.e. the pineal gland, and left-right brain, restructuring the endocannabinoids in the left-right brain to bring back homeostasis, alkalinity back into the body.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, you can do that DMSO. You can do that with green tea. You can do that with coconut oil. There's a lot of beautiful things that you can do to combine this. It's awesome. Hey, everybody, I love you all. Have a good one. I've got to go pick up my daughter.
All right, brother.
Man, thank you very much for inviting me on your show. I really appreciate that, Peter. And everybody, please, this guy, he really pushes for to help people. And he He rattles. He gets off into this governmental thing. And a lot of us, it goes over our head because we're not ready for it. But he is true and he's right, and people need to donate towards him.
Yeah, well, they can show the love over at Privatis.Me. We do have a donate page. We got the 8-week curriculum for everybody over there to teach them how we got here, about how to get out, solutions. So, yeah, they can go over to Privatis.me. Anyways, yeah, well, I'm just, brother, I'm just trying to bring us all together. That's the whole point of this exercise.
Yeah, it's your heart. Yep. You're there. You got amazing knowledge, Peter. It's like, I thought I was high-fluted. I thought I had all these intelligent words. I'm trying to down it down right now. And you're like way out there awesome. So anyways, I got a jet. Anyways, please support this guy. He's awesome. And he does do a good thing. And he really struggles. And because he's not commercialized. Hey, speaking of commercialized, I want to say something last before I go. I just thought of this. People get beat up, Dixie Oils, and we get beat up here at New Cure for commercializing cannabis. But here's the problem. If we do not professionalize what we do, we're not going to convince anybody that we're legit.
Yeah.
So people, we need to really step it up, okay, on what we do in professionalizing the cannabis industry. I love you. I got to go.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Okay,
Folks,
sit down. Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Hey, thank you, brother Brad. We'll catch you on the rebound, folks. Thank you for showing up. We'll catch everybody on Friday with Jonah Bay. That's going to be one hell of a call, brother. We're going to be bringing different parts of the spectrum to pull the curtain back to show people how to go back home again. So, folks, you're not going to want to miss Friday with Brother Peter and Jonah Bay and Justin. We're going to share the love, brother. See, you're sharing the love, brother. I love you, Brad. You have the right heart, the right spirit. Your daughter should be proud of her daddy, because I see your heart, dude. You have a beautiful heart. My 12-year-old, 13 now, used to and still does help me make this stuff. She goes and she says, "Dad, I'm so proud of you." That was that's beautiful, folks.
You can't.
No. Hey, let me one more thing. For all those showing contempt prior to investigation, folks, at the bare minimum, go watch the 19-minute video. If it vibrates and resonates with you, then step on in. But you know what? We're here to help you. We're not here to hurt you. They're hurt. But the medical communities have been hurting my brothers and sisters for 100 years, and it's really not making me happy.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, the poisoning, the barbarism. Anyways, all right, folks, catch you on the rebound. Thank you, Brad. We'll catch you later. Thank you very much for showing up, folks. That's a wrap. Anyways, I thank everybody for showing up. It's a shorter one, but folks, go over to Privatis.me if you're ready to get over the plantation, to get off the plantation. It's time to go home. Anyways, we're going to have some great, beautiful information coming forward Friday with Brother Jonah on the 15th. Hope to see you all there. That's at 1 o'clock Western time, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here on CNN. Folks, the truth is here. We love you. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you on the rebound. Have a great day.